If there is one thing that Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko cares about, it's the promotion of Red Bull Junior drivers into Formula 1. That's right, a lot like Drake, Dr. Disrespect, and Cody Co, Helmut Marko is passionate about under-18s with a lot of potential. All jokes aside, you don't lead the junior program at one of the most proficient teams in regards to promoting young potential without having a passionate view on the matter. Marko has recently been speaking out about how his own team has lost its ambition in regards to youth under the leadership of Oliver Mintzlaff, with him and members of the board pushing for the sister team to regain its focus in regards to nurturing the next best thing in the sport, rather than continuing down its currently directionless path. However, this week Helmut Marko did as Helmut Marko does, with the Red Bull advisor taking shots against multiple teams, multiple drivers, and taking a rather broad swing at the rest of the sport, and to be honest, we can't help but side with him on this one. Want to know why Helmut Marko has lashed out against pretty much every team in the sport? While normally Helmut can be pretty obtuse and disagreeable, we think he's kind of nailed it here, no matter how many feelings he may have hurt with this one. And stick around, because if Red Bull decide to take Marko's advice, then it could leave both Sergio Perez and Daniel Ricciardo in the dust. So let's start off with Helmut Marko, who in his recent column for Speed Week actually had some pretty high praise for Ferrari in regards to their recent promotion of Oliver Behrman to the sport. Interestingly, he would highlight the fact that Ferrari were open to paying attention to Behrman's display in an F1 car, replacing Carlos Sainz upon his appendix deciding it no longer wanted to function, which to us sounded like a clear jab at his own team in regards to them seemingly not wanting to recognize the merits of Liam Lawson's own substitute appearances for Daniel Ricciardo last year. Let me know if I'm reading too much into this, but knowing Helmut and what he's like, I think his messaging was pretty clear, as he said. With Oliver Behrman, he was in the right place at the right time and will move up into Formula 1 next year. His race in the Ferrari has shown him his F1 future, but if you were to look at his Formula 2 results, things would look a whole lot worse for him. But it's good that young people are coming into Formula 1. I'm absolutely in favor of that. And as if that wasn't enough of a jab at his own team, he made his thoughts pretty clear about people taking up space based on factors outside of racing that young people could be using to prove themselves in the sport, instead of sitting on the sidelines like the aforementioned Lawson or the other drivers, some of whom are F2 champions of recent years, who have not been afforded the opportunity to drive in Formula 1 even when seats weren't necessarily being earned by their incumbent drivers. This is what Marko went on to say. I can't name any names, but there are drivers in the field who stagnate and are a bit better or worse dependent on their mood. They block the way for young drivers. The teams are also afraid of juniors. Of course, they make mistakes, but I'd rather someone makes mistakes and is a hope for the future than there is no more improvement. Now, while it could be easy to point to the likes of Stroll or perhaps some other drivers in the lower teams, Helmut Marko is on record as saying both Sergio Perez and Daniel Ricciardo are emotional drivers who let their own heads get on top of them. Certainly in the case of Sergio, the recent language about the Red Bull driver in the second seat from the likes of Marko and even Horner has been about him getting into the headspace to perform again, blaming his on-track issues on a mentality problem, which isn't the first time that the team has alluded to this being the primary issue facing Sergio. Meanwhile, Ricciardo himself has said that he needs to get into the right headspace to be competitive, with his best performance of the season coming after Jacques Villeneuve seemingly triggered Daniel into a decent performance, which isn't necessarily a good thing, as if you need someone else to motivate you through saying how crap you've been, then you're relying on performing badly enough to be motivated in the first place. It's a confusing cycle, and it certainly doesn't seem to point towards a long-term strategy for success in the sport. The jab can certainly apply to a lot of the field, but clearly Marko's frustration comes from a lot closer to home, and he is merely using the positive story of Behrman while alluding to the other negative stories at other teams and their drivers, or lack of promoting juniors, to put a simple point across: give the kids a chance. As it is, following a season which saw no rookie drivers for the first time, which we made clear at the start of the season is something we really disliked, we could potentially see a quarter of the grid made up of rookie drivers. Now you're probably thinking, how is that possible? And we were certainly thinking the same thing. However, if you think it through, it could be a reality within just a few weeks from now. We already have Behrman confirmed at Haas. Alpine are currently weighing up their options, with Jack Doohan being a real possibility. Antonelli, while looking less likely at the moment, could still end up being in a Mercedes seat. However, he is currently the least likely to step up, as we discussed in our last video. And then the other two could come in an entirely unexpected swoop by Red Bull. During the summer break, we will also analyze and evaluate the performance of the Red Bull Juniors in more detail. Marko would go on to say, with the advisor claiming that there are 3 possible drivers that could burst onto the F1 scene. Let's start with the least likely, with Ayumu Iwasa, who is a very tidy driver who certainly has shown glimpses of being an F1 quality driver, who is currently second over in the Super Formula in Japan. In any other era of Red Bull, a driver like Iwasa would be considered for a move up. However, the other 2 drivers here are far more likely to make a step up to Formula 1. Clearly, one is Liam Lawson, who has been promised a seat in F1, and if he doesn't get one for 2025, then he is free to walk away from Red Bull as a free agent. He, like Behrman, demonstrated a clear capability and has even proven himself next to current Williams driver Alex Albon while racing together in other categories, such as the aforementioned Super Formula. The other driver is one that those who only watch Formula 1 may not be familiar with, and that is the current leader of the F2 Championship, Isaac Hadjar, who Helmut believes is capable of moving up to the top table as soon as next year. Hadjar took the lead in the F2 standings with his victory in the feature race at Silverstone. We mustn't forget that he was unlucky several times. There was an engine failure, then the reserve engine that didn't work, and then the 2 fuel supply failures, and twice he was also spun out through no fault of his own. Otherwise, he would have been miles ahead in the championship. Marko would also go on to highlight British driver Arvid Lindblad, who secured 2 race victories in the F3 at Silverstone, further cementing that there's hope for the future beyond even next year for the Red Bull Junior program. And it's not only Marko who sees the potential in Isaac Hadjar, as Christian Horner had this to say about the Red Bull Junior. He's doing a great job, he had a good weekend. Good to see both Isaac and Arvid Lindblad win the Formula 3 race this morning, 2 outstanding talents that are coming through. Again, he's making a strong case for himself for next year, which is why we're not in any rush to finalize the seats in the sister team. And let's face it, there's only 2 seats available at Red Bull in total, with one of the sister team seats already being taken. So if neither Daniel or Checo proves themselves as being worthy to keep their respective teams competitive, then Red Bull have the option of restarting their brutal driver pipeline by promoting the already proven talent of Lawson up to the main team to bolster the Red Bull Constructors' Championship hopes for 2025, while Isaac Hadjar, having likely placed in at least the top 3 of the F2 Championships, can step into the second team next to Yuki Tsunoda and continue on with his development, as he really does look like the real deal. Clearly for Lawson, an immediate move to the main team will come with a distinct amount of pressure, with Natalie Pinkham claiming the story of Nick de Vries should give Red Bull enough reason to be cautious. However, a driver with the experience of taking opportunities in Formula 1 and converting it into a career, Alex Wirtz, disagreed vehemently, with the Austrian claiming that Lawson will be able to handle it, and not only that, has a chance to thrive and lay the path for other junior drivers to break onto the scene. One shot, just take it. If you want to go up against the big boys, then go in. You can only surprise, perhaps with a bit of luck. I was here at Silverstone a long time ago as a substitute driver. I went straight to the podium. The day after, I had multiple teams calling me for a contract. Benetton were the fastest to sign me. I know it can happen straight away, you just need that good race. With luck, if he comes to a track where the Red Bull works, overthinking is the problem. He is a very good driver. There is a young generation incoming who will show new skills, and he is at the forefront. It'd be great not only for Lawson to be given a chance in F1, but Hadjar too, as both are certainly more exciting prospects than the respective drivers they'd be replacing. In recent weeks, whenever you talk about Ricciardo or Perez, it's like you're talking about a sick puppy. So maybe it's time they move aside to make room for some new young pups who can truly take the fight to the big dogs. What do you think? Do you agree with Marko? Personally, we'd love to see multiple young drivers enter the field. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching.